Hello, Tom Maguire. I just want to quickly review a book recommended by the late, great Bob Proctor, whose most recent book I recently reviewed. This one was published in 2000, but it recently came out in January of this year, 2022, on Audible as an audio version, so I listened to that one. It's Stella Adler, The Art of Acting. And it's compiled and edited by Howard Kissel. So just tell you a little bit about Stella Adler very quickly, just give you a bit of perspective. So she was arguably a very big influential figure of the 20th century, possibly one of the most important teachers when it came to acting in American history. She offered her knowledge and her experience and her training to some of the greatest actors such as Marlon Brando, Robert De Niro, Warren Beatty. And I think, if I remember rightly, I'm not going to get this exactly right, she died in her 90s. I think she reached 90 something and she passed away sadly in 1990, in the 90s. I think it was the mid 90s anyway. So this book is kind of compiled into It's 22 different lessons that come from Stella Adler over the years, and Howard Kissel has kind of put them together, edited them, and it's a really good book. Bob Proctor recommended it in his latest book, Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life. I've heard him recommend it before in other videos on YouTube. And it's not just about acting. The good thing about this book is even if you're not necessarily interested in acting, it's a very good personal development book, I would say. I think if you're into acting, it's absolutely fantastic. If you're not, but you've just got a vague interest or you're interested in personal development, it's really worth a read or a listen. Some of the things that she comes out with are really valuable. She talks about how to discover the nature of our own kind of emotions, how to conduct ourselves in the world, how to present ourselves on stage, but also on the stage of life as well, which I found really interesting. I'm just going to read the preface, the preface was actually done by Marlon Brando, so I was going to quickly read that out to you. So he says that, to me, Stella Adler is much more than a teacher of acting. Through her work, she imparts the most valuable kind of information, how to discover the nature of our own emotional mechanics and therefore those of others. She never lent herself to vulgar exploitations as some other well-known so-called methods of acting have done. As a result, her contributions to theatrical culture have remained largely unknown, unrecognised, and unappreciated. As far as I know, she was the only American artist who went to Paris to study with Konstantin Stanislavski, who was himself a skilled observer of human behaviour and a most prominent figure in Russian theatre. She brought back to this country a knowledge of his technique and incorporated it in her teaching. Little did she know that her teachings would impact theatrical culture worldwide. Almost all filmmaking anywhere in the world has been affected by American films, which has been in turn influenced by Stella Adler's teachings. She is loved by many and we owe her much. I am grateful to the inestimable contribution she has made to my life, and I feel privileged to have been associated with her and her family professionally and personally throughout my life, and that's Marlon Brando. I just wanted to read that out just to give you a little bit of an idea of the weight of this book, I think. So she used to use different exercises in her classes that she would get her students or her pupils to partake in, and those are in this book, which is very interesting, and they sort of the classes kind of lead on after another. I think this book ties in really nicely to what this channel is about, really. This channel is about good books overall, but it's about personal development. And so I don't just read or listen to personal development books, I read and listen to all sorts of books, non-fiction, personal development specifically, fiction. But I tend to come back to personal development a lot because I find it so motivating, and I find the idea of my own potential and other people's potential very, very exciting, and that really motivates me. But I think no matter what I read and no matter what you read, there's always the potential there to look at how it can better you as a person, what lessons you can learn from someone who has put so much time and effort into writing a book. Even good fiction, I think, is something that's really worth looking at and appreciating and thinking about deeply. And I think we need to think about, when it comes to personal development, who we want to be, the person we want to be, the best version of ourselves, and we need to keep that person in mind as often as we possibly can and try to act as if we are that person already. And I mentioned this in the last review I did of Bob Proctor's Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life. It's very much about visualization. It's very much about standing up straight, holding yourself a certain way, being the best possible version you can be of yourself. And this book talks about that really nicely. It does it in a nice, different way with the bent on acting, and I really like that. So I recommend this book pretty much to anyone, to be fair. It was a really pleasant listen on Audible. I think the actual hard copy would be really worth a proper read as well, but I happened to actually listen to this one. I'm actually reading Jimmy Carr's latest book at the minute, which I'll be reviewing very soon as well, so look out for that one. That should be pretty good. It should be quite funny, but it's also a personal development type book. It's a personal development memoir, so that should be good as well. But this one, Stella Adler, The Art of Acting, as I said, compiled and edited by Howard Kissel, really worthwhile. It was published in 2000 after she'd passed, but released in January on Audible. So give it a go. Fantastic personal development book, very interesting. Please keep liking and subscribing. I look forward to being back again soon. Cheers.